right, so Keyshawn Davis is firing back at Bomac and Bernie the boxer. Now, I'm not sure what Bomac said about him, but I did hear what Bernie said, and Bernie said what I already reported. That's the crazy thing about it. What I said about Dog and him not wanting to make way for the De Los Santos fight. I told y'all that already. I've been had that info.
Yeah, but like I said, I didn't see no signs of that. I don't think none of us could have seen no signs of that in the preparing to the De Los Santos fight. I don't know that. Maybe in the fight before that, in the camp before that, the guys might have had to counsel about some things which I wasn't privy to and didn't hear anything about. But I know for the De Los Santos fight, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary for that fight, And like I said, he said he was drinking so much, that's why he couldn't make the weight. And I never even heard that he drunk. I never seen him take a drink. I never heard that he drank or nothing. And to drink every day during a training camp, the way we put him in is crazy. I don't know how he was able to sustain himself, for that time. And if I'm being honest, he wasn't 4 pounds overweight at first. He wasn't. So,
well, that's news.
He decided that it wasn't a thing he wanted to. He decided he wasn't going to make the weight. So I don't know what that was a decision on him. Like I say, he basically said that he couldn't make the weight. He said in other interviews, he said I couldn't make the weight. He said that even when he was after the De Los Santos fight. He said it. I just didn't want to do it. So it was basically on him. He didn't want to make the weight. But whether he blamed it on drinking, whether he blamed it on the mental aspect of things, he just didn't want to make the weight.
So I'm gonna fill in the blank here. I heard, he was 2 pounds. I think 2 pounds. Don't quote me on this. I think he was 2 pounds overweight. Top Rank got word of it. They brought in a weight cutting specialist, and he said he didn't want to attempt to make the weight. There you have it. He didn't want to attempt to make the weight. He didn't want to attempt to make the weight. So that led a lot of people to believe that he didn't want to fight De Los Santos. And I think he knew that the whole time, and that's why Top Rank was so, upset with him. Not only, and for the whole drinking thing, at the end of the day, maybe Bernie wasn't privy to that, but somebody was telling me that was down there, the week of the fight, that they was at the bowling alley, turning up. I'll just leave it at that. They was turning up, and you wouldn't even think he had a fight week coming up. So I heard about it. I heard somebody that said, I've seen him turning up. So basically, when you put it all together, the reality of it is this. The reality of it is he didn't want to fight Edwin De Los Santos. He didn't want to fight Edwin De Los Santos. That was the reality of it. And that's the conclusion. When I got all that information, he was like 2 pounds over, and Top Rank was trying to help him cut the weight. He refused to cut the weight. I think right then and there, Top Rank was gonna shelf him. That's just my opinion. I think right then and there, Top Rank wanted to shelf him right then and there. But in reality, they didn't shelf him. I mean, they did shelf him. But then you had come fight week, right? You had Dog, Keyshawn Davis. He did what he did at the locker room. And at the end of the day, he waited, several months to issue an apology. He waited several months to issue an apology. And when he issued an apology, it was, it mimicked Sha'Carri Richardson's apology. Am I lying to y'all, brothers? His apology mimicked Sha'Carri Richardson apology, which no accountability, not sorry for what she did to Christian, her boyfriend, whatever. And it's the shit, dude. He apologized like a woman. but he goes out here and say Bo Mac talking bad about me. Now that reference point, maybe that's something behind the scenes because I seen a post where Bo Mac, people said Bo Mac was talking bad about Keyshawn, but he was responding to Garfield the coke sniffing cat, so he wasn't talking about Keyshawn Davis. So maybe there's something behind closed doors about Bo Mac talking shit about him, but that post, Bo Mac wasn't talking shit about him on that particular post that I seen. It was about Garfield the coke sniffing cat. But he said Bo Mac out here talking bad at me. Now Bernie out here talking bad about me. And all I had to say about them guys was positivity. He meant positive. I thought y'all were supposed to be OGs in the game, but y'all out here doing what prospects do. Shake my head anyways. New team, new date, better me. So anytime you cut somebody money off, they're gonna feel a certain type of way. It's really no such thing as an amicable split. Nothing amicable about a split. Somebody gonna be mad. Somebody gonna be feeling a certain type of way. That's just what it is. Then he goes on to say camp vibes. Well, I had my coaches sparring in my house last night. Camp vibes. Look here, you worry about what they saying about you. If we keeping it being, you need to be worried about your opponent. Like him and Shakur Stevenson is, creating one of the more unlikable people, two of the most unlikable people you can find in boxing. But at the same time, what Bernie said, Bernie out, maybe Bernie shouldn't have, I feel like Bernie should have just let bygones be bygones. I wouldn't even have spoke on it to keep it a beat. Me personally, I wouldn't even speak on dog. I ain't got nothing bad to say about him. Matter of fact, I ain't got nothing to say about him. But what he said is actually factually. He didn't deny what Bernie said in here. He knew he didn't want to fight the De Los Santos fight, and that's why Top Rank was going to shelf him. That's why Top Rank was going to shelf him because he wasted everybody money, everybody time. Then he had to fight eating a hot dog. And then you do that shit in the locker room. And it's like, shit, whatever the decision was, it was. Nobody liked to be fired. So yeah, nobody like to be fired. So but you see people go their separate ways and you hear all that shit going on. I'm going this way, you going that way. We just gonna split on goods. Ain't no good terms, man. This is why a lot of people don't like doing business. They don't like doing business with their family or with their homeboys because once the personal business, go left, and then, once the personal business go left, or the business business go left, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. People don't know how to separate the two. You look at Brian Norman Sr. and, his son. He can't just, he can't. So a lot of these dudes' egos, pride get in the way, all that shit get in the way. And it's hard for it not to get in the way. It's hard somebody can say, hey man, he can do a better job than you. Especially when it comes to your son. But for Keyshawn Davis, man, hopefully he figure it out. But I feel like Bernie should have spoke on that. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I feel like Bernie shouldn't have spoke on that. I think Bernie should have just kept that to himself. And all that. Me personally, I ain't telling no grown man what to do, but I feel like he should have kept it to himself to keep it a bean. So, but it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. But keeping it moving, dog. When a relationship is over, I ain't got nothing bad to say about a person. I don't say nothing about them. It's a wrap. We ain't no longer working together. And it is what it is. You have to do what you have to do for you, because you never know who you need. You never know who you need on the way, on the way down. Because what goes up must come down. So don't forget it, babe. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live, drop video. Appreciate y'all. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Check out the Patreon. Peace.